What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to bring you those 40 facts on the Warhammer 40K universe that we all know and love. Today we are doing a part 2 on the fan chapter known as the Inquisitorial Guard. So this is an awesome fan chapter of the Space Marines that takes a different look at what a Space Marine company is. It involves a patriarchal system of a tight-knit group of Space Marines working very closely with the Inquisition. Check out our part 1 where we talk more about what goes on with this chapter, how it works and whatnot, and then check this one out where it goes more into the notable characters, their weapons and war gear, as well as some crazy battles that they had. So with that being said, guys, let's dive straight into this fan lore. The war gear and vehicles of the Inquisitorial Guard. The bolter is the closest you will come to experiencing the Emperor's love. Each round spent is both a prayer and a response. You pray for his guiding light, and he responds in kind, exacting his toll and clearing your path to further spread the truth. The recoil is his hearty laugh at the impudence of our foes. Grandfather Yolkar during marksmanship training. Family 634. Curiously, there are no physical melee weapons in any of the armories of the Inquisitorial Guard, except for the croziers held by family cardinals. As each Astartes a neophyte and sister of battle is a potent psyker in their own right, their ranged weapons are instead modified with psychic conduits and amplifiers to allow their psychic energy to course through the weapon and form into a blade at the end. Each member of the Inquisitorial Guard is extensively trained in dual wielding and hand-to-hand combat, so while their dominant hand will hold a sword, the other will hold a psychically produced shield if they ever should come into melee range of their foes. Mission Directive has molded the Inquisitorial Guard and their family structure into a light and elite special operations force. As such, the use of vehicles comes mainly from Inquisitorial assets and those of other military units, such as the task force would encounter. Still, each member of the Guard is trained extensively in the use of most vehicles and vehicle-mounted weapon platforms, should the need ever arise. For aerial support, the Inquisitorial Guard relies on the use of Inquisitorial assets, which are always in nearby supply. Each Inquisitorial facility has an attached Inquisitorial Guard family, keeps scores of servitor-operated Stormhawk interceptors to allow for precision airstrikes and anti-air capacity. Chapter History among the Imperium. Ours is a varied and storied legacy, from the expanses of the Jericho Reach to the Ghoul Stars and Segmentum Obscurus. Our chapter is spread amongst the stars, earning glories innumerable and songs of praise immeasurable. You will inherit more than your just for father's legacies. Grandfather Kilward to the Neophytes. Family 457. Like stated before, the Inquisitorial Guard was formed sometime during the 35th millennium in what would be known as the Dark Founding. While much of the information regarding this founding was lost, just as much was censored by the holy decree of the Inquisition. The first few centuries surrounding this chapter is shrouded in mystery, as is their original homeworld and even their Primarch progenitor, though many within the Inquisition believe that they derive their gene seed stock from the same source as the Grey Knights. Notable campaigns and events of the Inquisitorial Guard. Our battlefields are many, our foes innumerable, from the warp-spawned beasts and foul demons to the heretical witch and foul Xeno Scourge. Our chapter has answered every call, fought every enemy, and brought to the imperial truth to countless domains. Unknown son to his aspirants. Year 754 of the 38th millennium. During his long trial, Thomas Isentanius, a son of the Guard of Family 466, traveled to the asteroid mining colony of Erkir 4, located in the Segmentum Obscurus. The mining colony was a harsh and unforgiving place to live, housing over 400,000 citizens in cramped and unhygienic conditions. It was in this environment that Thomas began his assessment of aspirants, forcing them to undergo tougher and tougher trials, each one deadlier than the last. Starting in his first year with over 500 possible aspirants, By his 5th year, he had whittled down the aspirants to the last 8. The next trial, he told them, would be their last. Simply enough, all the aspirants had to do was to travel outside into the void of space, sealed in spacesuits, and travel along the length of the great mining excavator, retrieve a flag that he had planted on one side of the administratum. The group had half a day, or 6 hours for the mining colony, to retrieve this flag. And while up to 2 could complete the challenge, should they fail to return in time, the airlock doors would be sealed behind them, and the group would perish. This group was eager to show their father who amongst them would indeed be worthy, and they rushed to lead the relative safety of the colony. What Thomas did not tell them, however, was that each suit was rigged to catastrophically malfunction after an hour in this void, and that each aspirant would have to use their psychic powers to envelop themselves in a protective field, while also combating the other aspirants. Also, he did not mention that it was a challenge of teamwork, as all 8 could pass, and if they worked together as a team, perhaps they would all come out victorious. Regardless, the 8 aspirants ventured out further and further into the massive mining machine. Before the hour had passed, 2 aspirants floated away into the void, killed by the strongest amongst them. One aspirant, however, traveled much slower than the rest, always a distance from the others. Thomas thought it was cowardice, but bade the aspirant time to rise to the challenge. Once the hour mark had hit, each spacesuit began to malfunction, and another 3 aspirants asphyxiated in the void, unable to control their emotions and in turn their powers. Again, the strongest amongst them was in the lead, followed by the oldest, and again the last aspirant was a distance away, but still in it. This time, however, Thomas noticed the trailing aspirant was using more psychic energy than either of the 2. Yet this he tossed aside to the aspirant being a weak psyker. Again he bade the aspirant another chance. Finally, after 2 hours, the strongest among them reached the flag, and wanting not to share his honor, killed the oldest aspirant outright, pushing the hilt of the flag through his opponent's helmet's visor and into his brain. He began to move towards the final aspirant, who at this point remained motionless. Thomas assumed again that the aspirant was frozen in fear, and waited for the former to kill the latter. Suddenly, the psychic shielding around the strongest of the 2 disappeared, and almost instantaneously he exploded into a red mist. The final aspirant shook their head, grabbed the flag, and returned to the airlock. Thomas noticed something different about this aspirant, something he never paid attention to before. As the aspirant knocked on the glass of the airlock, it hit him. He could feel the psychic energy flowing from this aspirant, many times stronger than that of his own. Letting him back inside, he asked why he had been shielding the other 2 aspirants. To his surprise, they told him that they read his mind before beginning the task, and psychically he told the other aspirants of this, and they all agreed to work together. Astonished, Thomas lauded the aspirant, saying that he would be honored to mentor the new neophyte as his father, and he as his son. Again, the aspirant told him that they had read his mind, this time long ago during the beginning of the trial, and discovered what was to become of them. As such, the aspirant had used their psychic powers abilities to mask their psychic energies, which for a male psyker would be almost impossible. Shocked, Thomas realized that this aspirant was no boy, but instead a girl. Thomas was not angered, but rather amazed at how this young girl could outperform the males at almost every challenge. Despite tradition, Thomas determined that he would return with this girl and plead her case to the receiving training, at least under the Adeptus or Aritas. Returning to his hearth with the young girl, Thomas pleaded his case before his father and uncles. Upon hearing the news that he had brought back a young girl, Thomas was detained by the family and brought before the Inquisition for spiritual interrogation, fearing that this girl had psychically corrupted him somehow. Instead, the patriarch of the family, Grandfather Bastille Loganus, and Inquisitor Krogan Tispin, approached this young child. After days of interrogation, Grandfather Bastille held the first patriarchal court. Every grandfather of the chapter, along with several high-ranking inquisitors, arrived to the facility within weeks. Bastille, along with Inquisitor Krogan and son Thomas, spoke before the court, stating their case. By the end of the trial, yet another set of rules and customs have been enacted, changing the chapter forever. Notable members of the Inquisitorial Guard. The days of heroes and legends are far behind us, with even the most glorious of our number lost to the annals of time. Time is a cruel power. Great deeds, both heroic and terrible, are promised to the eternity of time, and yet, even time eventually crumbles away. Father Uriel Septimus to son Jacobi, family 175. Grandfather Kilward, Patriarch, family 457. Grandfather Kilward began life rather humbly, born in the 463rd year of the 37th millennium, on the imperial death world of Rajanad Tritus, an apocalyptic world of nuclear wastes and vast bone-dry deserts. Living in the sole major settlement of the world, vast as his hope, Kilward was orphaned at an early age, living among the city's notorious murder gangs. While diminutive of fame, he quickly rose to power, all thanks to his potent psychic abilities. During a neophyte's long trial, Kilward was one of the dozens of children chosen to participate as expirants. He made the decision quite easy for his neophyte, as during just the second trial, he undertook one of the gladiatorial combats. While 10 were supposed to be chosen during a mass free-for-all, Kilward used his innate psychic abilities to slaughter all the other aspirants before the neophyte could stop the combat. Proving his worth, Kilward was taken back to the battle outpost, Hearth of Family 457. Again, he ascended rapidly, surpassing all other neophytes in both psychic ability and martial prowess, despite his small stature. With just 2 years, Kilward had earned the right to gene seed implantation and received a set of Mark IV power armor, becoming a family son. For 30 years, Kilward fought at his father's side on hundreds of battlefields, until in the 497th year of the 37th millennium, his father was slain during a reconnaissance operation against an orc wall in the nearby Callimachus system. Despite being alone and hundreds of miles from the nearest Inquisitorial battle outpost, Kilward carried his father's corpse, fighting for weeks against constant orc attacks and ambushes, until finally he made it back. Severely wounded, dehydrated, and close to death, Kilward again continued fighting when the orc force that had been tracking him attacked the Inquisition base. Several times the orcs pushed the attack, and each time they were repelled. With each retreat, however, the orcs attempted to steal his father's corpse as a trophy, and each time Kilward would rush the orcs, retrieving the body and protecting it from the shame and molestations that the orcs had in mind. After the landing zone was secured, Kilward and his father were transported back to the hearth, while Kilward's left leg and arm were amputated and replaced with cybernetic implantation. Despite his being 20 years shy of his long trial, Grandfather Velium declared Kilward worthy of the honor, and once he had healed sufficiently, he returned to Rajanan Tritus, selecting his own son after 5 years. Father Kilward's potent psychic abilities would see him don the specialty of Cardinal, and he would serve honorably at this position for 3 centuries, until in the year 711 of the 37th millennium, Grandfather Velium would be slain during an Eldar incursion of the Inquisitorial facility. Being the eldest father at the time, Kilward would assume the mantle of Patriarch until his death during an important escort mission, which a Dark Elder Corsair slew the grandfather in single combat. And with that being said, that brings us to yet another ending of a 40 Facts video. Huge credit to Tyler Mathias in this awesome custom Space Marine chapter lore. The Inquisitorial Guard has quickly become one of my favorite fan lores. There's just so much devotion, so much dedication, so much thought put into this special chapter that it just sets it apart from almost anything else that I've read. It's just awesome that Warhammer 40K can have this avenue available to us, the players, to create something so intricate, so deeply rooted in Space Marine lore, but at the same time, it has its own twist to it, and that's just crazy. It's like you'd expect a Space Marine chapter to be, you know, just like the Ultramarines and whatnot, but you can also twist it to make it something its own creative aspect, and that's really awesome. So again, huge thanks for Matthias for letting us use his chapter in these videos, sharing it to you guys, and again, really awesome work. Honestly, I could probably do another 2 or 3 videos on it, but I will call it a 2-parter for now. He literally sent us, I believe it was like 32 pages on his lore, and it's just awesome. If you guys want more lore on this, let us know. Perhaps we will be giving a part 3 to it, because there's a few things I left out, and there's also like another section or 2 that I could cover, such as the weapons and war gear, relics for that matter. But again, it's all up to you guys. And with that being said, guys, this is the end of this 40 fact video. As always, stay subscribed and check out our fan lore playlist, which I will leave at the end of this video. And again, if you didn't check out part 1, check it out then. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'm signing out.